What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of Tornado Tag. Your hosts of the evening, Anthony Blackwell Jr., ABJ, and BP Burke joining us. We're back.
It's been a little while.
It's been a while. My life fell apart, man. Just fucking crumbled. It's still not doing amazing. Full disclosure. I'm in a new location. I'm trying to find employment, which is not working out. I think the universe is telling me things, and I gotta start listening. But bro, I was in a dark place, man, and it's still not amazing and still not good, but I'm working through it. But I thought to myself, while I find this job, I'm just going to take time to myself and figure myself out. I didn't have the money to pay for the podcast services that we're using, like StreamYard and Canva, that I make the stuff, like the things that make the show run. You know what I mean? But our boys and our buddies at Suplex Vintage Wrestling have saved the day once again. They picked up their sponsorship, which is helping the podcast get back up on track. BP, I don't know how many months this sponsorship's going to last. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have booked like 18 interviews from now to the end of this month. I'm going to fly through them. Some are going to be live, some are going to be taped and then put up later in case things go wrong. I still have a backlog of content. But anything you got, I'm not one to beg, I'm not one to plead or borrow or anything like that. But if you guys can support, if you have the means to do so, if likes and shares don't cost a thing, let people know you're watching this content. There's tons of new merch. The link tree is available. Follow me on social media. Patreon is a thing you can do. It's a monthly subscription. If you could do $1, $5, whatever you want. If you're a baller, do $150,000. I don't know why that's a number. If you hit the lottery, did someone hit it? Did someone win, or is it still? Is it like $8 billion?
No, Mega Millions is now going to be over $1 billion. It's going to be over $1 billion. It was like 900 million on Friday.
Well, whoever wins, if you want to support an upcoming podcast, guys, hit us up. But yeah, new merchandise, tons of new merchandise is out right now. Some new stuff even still being worked on by the one and only Logos by Hunter, doing an amazing job. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't watched much professional wrestling. I'm going to be honest. I don't have live TV or means to watch it. So I kind of just been catching highlights here and there. So I've been really, really out of the loop. But tonight we are doing...
I'm missing a whole lot.
No. Tonight we are doing the Champions Draft. We are drafting our own wrestling promotions again. The ABJ promotion and the BP promotion. And we're going to... The only people we're allowed to draft are people who are currently holding championships. Full disclosure, BP... I have no idea what's going on in the world of independent wrestling. Who's still champions? Who's not champions? So, independent people, sorry if you left off the list. I don't know who's a champion. If you're in the chat, say, "Hey, I'm a current champion here." That may help your odds.
Luckily, you have AEW where literally everybody is a champion.
Listen, I did a list of champions. WWE has 2 companies, which is 16 champions. Japan has 1 company, 15 champions.
Yeah, New Japan has a lot too.
AEW and ROH together is a lot of champions. It's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
So I normally say 2, let's do a men's division and a women's division, but not many women's titles.
Yeah, I think this is a good free form. You're going to pick 10. I'm going to pick 10. It could be teams, women, men. Doesn't matter.
Well, we're going to shoot for 10, but we're going to try to fit up at least 45 minutes. So maybe we'll even go a couple more rounds.
I hope not too many because I only came up with like 20 people. Like, okay, if you draft everybody on my list, I have a backup list. Let's just wing it. Who cares?
Let's have fun. Yeah. Well, BP, I'm gonna defer. I'm gonna give you the first.
I was gonna give you the first pick.
I want you to have it. I want you to have it. Well, before we get started, let's get one thing out of the way. BP, do you have anything to plug? Do you want to talk about anything before we start?
Yeah, tomorrow night at the Sanctuary, it's going to be Sanctuary Mania. That's going to be a big thing. Main event, somebody you might hear drafted later tonight, the Sanctuary champion, PJ Savage, will be going up against J.S. Hawthorne, the Thespian.
I promise you one person who will not be getting drafted on Team ABJ, and that's that Spotlight champion, that no-good, dirty scumbag Vince Torres.
Vince Torres.
Will not be on my list.
Not on the list.
Has been very impressive lately, but won't be on my list.
He has. He certainly has. What if we could have some new champions? Vince Torres is going to be defending against the Sanctuary Phenom, Jorge Wapo. You're going to have Tyrant up against Precious, who is coming off the performance of a lifetime last week. He's going to be going up against him and Zach Zander going to be going up against the Tyrant. A lot of
it's a
stuff
handicap match.
Poor Zach Zander. But yeah, so that's going to be tomorrow at Sanctuary PATV. Just if you can't make it to Hazleton, it'll be on YouTube. And then Murder My Dude is my bi-weekly true crime podcast. This is an off week. Our latest episode was last Friday, and I'm struggling to remember. Oh, we did a Canadian story that's going to become a Hulu true crime series. I'm going to tie this back to wrestling. This coming Friday, not actually, obviously not yesterday, but next Friday, like August, I don't know what the exact date is, the 4th, I think, 3rd or 4th, we're going to be doing The Iceman, Richard Kuklinski, who had a bunch of HBO series. It's actually loosely the inspiration for Steve Austin. When he started doing the Stone Cold character, he's like, I want my character to be like the Iceman. And then legend has it, WWF or at the time, or WWE now, gave him a list of like 4 pages worth of weather-related nicknames. Ace Dagger, Ice Dagger, Chili McFreeze, Fang McFrost. And it was his wife at the time, who was British, or is British, she still is. His wife at the time was taking him to task because he wasn't drinking his tea, and she wanted him to drink it before it got stone cold. And then, boom, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the name.
It's born, yeah. Did you guys cover This Week in Murder with the girl high on meth who killed the Minnesota case?
We did not.
Oh, wowzer, bro! I have been upset. I've been literally laying in bed in the AC because it's too hot to be anywhere else in this house.
It's very hot, yeah.
And I've been watching the whole case, like just watching the what happened, the confession tape, the body cam footage of when they caught her. Wow, what a story! And aliens are real.
Well,
they're real, Brian.
People have
BP.
It's very possible. I'm not saying it's not possible.
I'm on my parade.
I'm just saying there isn't it's not the smoking gun everybody's making it out to be. It's not like aliens are real and here's one right now coming down the aisle.
Soon.
But no, it's very possible.
How long do you think it'll take professional wrestling to induct its first alien champion?
Rocket. Rocket's an alien.
I'm talking shoot alien.
Oh, shoot alien?
Who do you think? What if they say like aliens have been here the whole time and they can cloak as humans?
Yeah.
Who do you think would have been the first alien wrestler that was cloaked the whole time?
Lance Storm.
Lance Storm?
Lance Storm's a weird guy.
Brian Kendrick?
Brian Kendrick might be an alien. This is very possible. Facade could be an alien. We may have encountered several aliens in our time.
Yeah. All right. Well, BP.
Love those guys. Love every one of those guys too.
Yeah, I absolutely.
But they might be aliens.
They might be. Paul Beau is an alien.
Oh, Paul Beau is from the planet Thick. Yes, the alien from the planet Thick.
Yeah, in the galaxy, dragon.
Yes.
All right, BP.
So
take your first pick and tell me why he's from New Japan.
No, he's not. This is going to be a bit of an about face for me because if you've followed Tony and I for a while now, you know it took me some time to warm up to this guy. But if I were starting a wrestling company right now and I could have my pick of the litter, it would be the reigning AEW World Champion MJF Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yo, he despised him back in the day.
It took me a while. It took me a while to get it, and I stand by everything I said. He is like the Dick's last resort of wrestling. It is everybody's in on the joke. Everybody, it's like okay, I get it, but and then I saw him wrestle more, and I'm like, oh wow, he's really good. And then he's shown a lot of range. He has really won me over in AEW, and he's young too. He's like if you're building wrestling, he's like what 24, 25 years old. If I were building a wrestling company right now and I could have my pick of anyone in professional wrestling to be my number one draft pick, it would be MJF.
That's a great pick, and you can't go wrong with that one. Shocking, by the way. Very shocking.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I'm going to go.
Surprises. Did you want me to go first because you thought you were going to be able to get him? Was that the plan?
No. Well, maybe kind of a little bit. So I think the next pick, people will be like, it has to go a certain way, but I'm not going that way. I think he's very good. I think what they're doing right now with him is very good, but I'm a workhorse guy, man, and I have a certain style of wrestler that I'm into. And my first pick starts singing his music, BP. I'm going with Seth Franklin Rollins off the board.
Seth Franklin Rollins, correct.
Yes.
That is his actual middle name.
Also, speaking of professional wrestling, I've been watching more Japan lately. Like, been watching more of the pay-per-views because my sleep schedule was terrible. But people in the chat, if you're first time listening, or if you're not normally from our Discord, I implore you to join it, man. We rebuilt it. It looks really fucking cool. When you first join, you got to go through like some leveling systems before you get access to certain things. But trust me, it does not take long to do so at all.
One of these days,
we may watch things in that Discord that if you're a wrestling fan or movie fan that you might enjoy. But come hang out at the Discord. It is my link tree below, and make sure you. I don't think the stream bot's gonna work. I don't pay for it anymore, so the commands may not work. But yeah, so you might have to physically put the links in, or just go to my link tree. All right, your next pick.
My next pick.
You might get the two heavy hitters here if you go with them.
I'm going with a tag team. But I feel like it's a tag team where either one of these two could be a main event singles person. Either one of these two can be a champion, a world champion. I am going with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
I almost took them in my first pick of the draft. I'm not going to lie. Oh, there goes my board. My board's down.
We can still hear. I can still hear you at least.
No, I have a draft board. To the
right. Okay.
Yeah, that sucks. You know what? That sucks.
I offered you the first pick.
I know.
I offered you the first pick.
Son of a bitch. All right, well then, F it. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take a tag team who, if you split them up, they could be good single stars. And I'll take the greatest tag team in professional wrestling, FTR, off the board.
Was literally going to be my next pick. But that's okay, because I know fatigue is setting in. I know I was kind of upset that he retained the title at the biggest show of the year. But how can you not take Roman Reigns? How can you not take the biggest star in professional wrestling right now, a guy who is incredible at what he does? I'm going Roman Reigns with my third pick.
It's a very, very, very safe bet pick right there. Shocking he fell to this
round
far
3,
down.
Round 3, fifth overall.
You know what? I'm gonna jump a little crazy here, and I'm not gonna go with your traditional TV. I'm gonna go with more of your super indie, we'll say.
All right. Yeah.
And I wanna take a team, BP, that's youthful, that's very, very young in their career. And I think a tag team that if given the right opportunity, they can be two of the top guys in professional wrestling as we know today. And I'm gonna take from GCW, the tag team champions, the East West Express, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne off the board.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick. That's somebody I thought I could get a little later, a group I thought I could get a little bit later, and didn't work out for me.
That's a Sammy Kevin pick. You know what I mean?
That is definitely one that both of those two are guys that could.
I'm really high on Jordan Oliver. Very high.
Jordan Oliver's excellent, and Nick Wayne is for. I like. Well, I don't want to say a name because it might be somebody that one of us picks later. In fact, it probably will be if we go a little deeper in this draft. I'm going to take a woman off the board. I'm going to go women's division here, and I got to get mommy. I got to take Rhea Ripley.
Damn it, it's not a good pick. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Even though I am not a fan of her current gimmick, I think they made everything that made her special, and they took it and they threw it out the window. And speaking of professional wrestlers who are aliens or used to be aliens,
could be, yes. If you're going where I think you're going, could be very well.
I'm gonna take Chris Statlander off the board.
Oh no, yeah, there you go. There's an alien, a former alien now. Not who I thought you were going with, but I get the who else did the alien thing? Back to the men's division. I'm gonna take one of my personal favorite wrestlers, and I am going with the Ring of Honor world champion Claudio Castagnoli.
You know what's insane? Let me pull something up real quick. Plus, I'm trying to kill time because we're fucking zooming.
Yeah, we're flying through this thing.
If you would have asked me when we first created this podcast, BP, we always said, man, look at the like man, we're sick of seeing the same set of people. AEW was a fresh startup company.
Yeah,
we didn't see the thing, and then look at this list. Like, look at these people who are holding title belts right now. Like an unknown MJF, Claudio with a world champion on his shoulder. You know, Blake Christian, Athena, Tony Storm, Asuka, Rhea Ripley. Like, besides Roman here, this is a fresh new set of faces right now in your world championship picture, which is it's fun. It's a fun new way of professional wrestling, and with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cross the bow first and head overseas.
Oh, and I'm
gonna take the first Japanese wrestling New Japan star off the board. And I'm going to be honest, he's my favorite Japanese world heavyweight champion.
Okay.
I'm high on Sonata. I like him.
I am a big fan of Sonata as well. I actually saw him. He did his excursion work in the United States.
The Ichi look he had first, the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Did not like it. I like him better a lot more.
I did like the big sideburns though he had for a while. No, I'm a big Sonata fan. If you've only really seen him at Forbidden Door, he did that match with, I guess he kind of ended Jungle Boy. Could be a pick later. Pick later.
I think that's who we thought I was going with.
Yeah, but Sonata, I actually saw when Jeff Jarrett was doing Global Force Wrestling. They did ballpark shows, and I actually went to a show. I think it was in 2016 in Harrisburg. Yeah. And a lot of the people that were involved with that show are now in AEW, like Pat Buck, who was an agent, one of the people who actually both of the people who run the Create a Pro Dojo now, Pat Buck and Brian Myers, were on that show. Pepper Parks, who is now the Blade in AEW, Cherry Bomb, who is now the Bunny, was on that show. Somebody who was going through a lot and needs all his pretty get Black G's was on that show. Yeah. But the main event, it was supposed to be Gallows and Anderson against Sonata and somebody, but Carl Anderson couldn't make it. So it was Sonata and I forget his opponent against Luke Gallows in a handicap match. And yeah, Sonata is very impressive. Just to kind of prolong this stretch.
I wish they took him more seriously as a champion, though. I feel like he's not the guy they normally would put the title on because they only have like their dudes, and he seems like I'm not a big Japanese guy. I understand why the presentation is popular, but it's not for me so far. What I've been watching it, I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's every single thing about it is the greatest thing in professional wrestling. Like for example, during the G1, I hated the guy's gimmick that came out. If someone could help me in the chat, if Raz or anyone's here, he comes out like Phantom of the Opera. He has like a mask and he sings. So I hate his gimmick. Then he started wrestling Ospreay, and he's fucking amazing. And the match they were telling is Ospreay was just killing him, like making him look like a fucking joke. And he hits Ospreay with a kick to the head that and Ospreay sells his equilibriums off the rest of the match. And it was great storytelling, and it was my style of professional wrestling. And I actually enjoyed that match of Will Ospreay selling the way he sold and everything about that match because it seemed more real than I did Ospreay Kenny Omega, where they literally hit each other with shotguns and sledgehammers 400 times and like 100 false finishes. I thought that match was a better performance for Will Ospreay, though. And that guy, even though I hate his gimmick, is unbelievable in the ring.
Tai Chi is good. I like Tai Chi. I think he has a title. He could be on the list. I think he's like a never open weight champion or something. Yeah, I don't have the list in front of me.
There's a lot going on.
They have a billion titles in Japan. So just to recap and to make sure we're doing this for longer than 20 minutes, let's recap the first 10 picks here. We're probably going to go over 20. We'll go until we're like running out, I guess. So far, my team is MJF, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, Claudio Castagnoli. I think I've gone more chalk than you have so far. I've gone with the established ones, and you so far have Seth Franklin Rollins, excuse me. FTR, the East West Express and GCW Tag Team Champions, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, Chris Statlander, the current TBS champion, and the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Sonata. So that leaves me with pick number 6, and it's somebody who, again, might be if I'm just going by what they're doing now, my current favorite wrestler as far as people I enjoy watching, especially for one of the big companies. Could be on the precipice of breaking a record that has been around for 30 plus years now, almost 30, about 35-year-old record. The current Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, is going to be my pick.
Just past Savage, yeah.
I think basically if he beats McIntyre at SummerSlam, he's going to break the Honky Tonk Man's record, which I think is the design.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a team off the board that is there's people on the board that I really want when it comes to talent right now, but sometimes more bang for your buck is the way to go. And when you see this team, you're going, oh boy, this is a lot of talent that once again I can kind of split up a little bit. And
gonna be my next pick. It was next.
Why not go 2 when you can go 3?
Yep.
Let's take the AEW Trios champions, the House of Black, with Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black.
I actually have on in the background Collision, where it is right now Andrade El Idolo and Buddy Matthews in a ladder match.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was literally going to be my next pick. So
you have a lot of crackling coming off your head off your microphone today. I don't know if a cable's loose or something, but when I guess
it could be. I think
whatever you're touching is making like a loose noise.
Now I'm not touching anything. Okay.
Yeah,
I turned it down a little bit. You may hear my air conditioner in the background.
No, it sounds like a loose wire.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not touching anything. I just made some adjustments, so hopefully that didn't make it better.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
you're up.
So I have a few ways I could go here. I'm going to go with. I'm gonna go to New Japan, but I'm not taking a Japanese wrestler yet. I'm taking somebody that I've always been a fan of their style. Yeah. I got to see them live for the first time back in, I believe it was May. Unfortunately, somebody we know broke their arm in the match, unfortunately. But I'm going to, and he'll be coming back soon. He'll be coming back in, I think, a week or two. But I'm going to take the New Japan TV champion, Zack Sabre Jr.
I love it. Love that pick. All right. Well, when you talk champions, you think workhorses. You think someone who just grinds and grinds.
I thought I could
week in,
damn it,
week in and week out, title defense after title defense. And what better guy than freshly squeezed?
Oh, okay.
Orange Cassidy.
Good pick. Yeah.
The guy. He's a type of wrestler, BP, that people. They see him, they don't understand the gimmick, they hate him, they think he sucks, they hate everything about him, and then he goes out and wrestles, and you're like, oh, he's good. Like,
oh, he's better than good. He's
so talented, and I think his reign as champion has been fantastic. Steven Chambers, I'd love to take Adam Cole, but unfortunately,
not a champion right now.
Not a champion, unless they win the tag team champions tonight.
Yeah, if we go until 10 o'clock, and I guess you would have to then not pick FTR, and then. Yeah. Adam Cole. But then I have MJF already.
So you already have MJF. Yeah. Here's a question. Let's drag it out of here. Do you think? Well, obviously tonight they already said regardless of what happens, I'm going to give you another title shot. He said he'll give him another title shot. Do you think it happens in Wembley?
It could. It could.
Does Adam Cole beat him in Wembley?
I could see Cole winning it and all in and losing it and all out, doing one of those
I said the same thing. Yep.
Like a Dusty Rhodes type reign.
Yep.
I could see that. They want to have something big happen in Wembley Stadium. I mean, they already sold 1 million tickets, so they don't have to really worry about selling out. But now you have to deliver a show, and they should, because it's not that far away, is it?
No.
And they haven't really been pushing it. I think it's like what, in a month, and they
Not
haven't
yet,
really been
not even.
pushing it on TV. It's like you wouldn't think that one of the biggest shows, not just in the history of AEW, one of the biggest events in the history of wrestling, if you're talking about pure ticket sales, like there are very few, like, because especially if those numbers are legit, and I think they are, like WrestleManias don't even get the ticket sales for the most part that All Out's going to get. The only thing that kind of eclipses it is the shows in North Korea, and they're not real. The people had to be there. Like
Yeah.
they were forced to be there. So as far as a legit crowd, this is going to be one of the largest in wrestling history. And they don't even talk about it on TV, really.
I think they're going to start pushing it probably at the beginning of the beginning of the month. Yeah, I think this will be the last show physically you'll see, and then they'll start pushing. Yeah,
I think right now their main focus in AEW has been trying to get Collision off the ground. Like it had that big first rating, and then it kind of dipped a little bit.
You know what it did in the first episode? And I was like, keep doing this. I like it. The very start of the show, Elton John plays, and the small little tonight I'm gonna kick your ass.
Nice main event, yeah.
They were so good, and then they didn't do it the next week.
I have it on mute, but it looked like they were doing it today.
Oh, please keep those. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm watching that show, and I'm seeing the way it's being booked. I 100% would not doubt if CM Punk is booking that show.
I don't know this for certain, but I have it on good authority that not good authority, but I have it on somewhat, like, I'm not like a big insider or anything, but I know people that know people, and one of the people I know says that Punk is booking it. Danielson is kind of his lieutenant, and Khan's kind of hands off.
Yeah. I think the feel of that show is being done very well.
Although Danielson hasn't really been around because he's rehabbing and he's basically spending time at home.
Yeah, I love the way the show is being designed. I think, honestly, I really like it. I'm kind of bummed I'm not watching right now. But going back to Wembley, BP, in the chat right now is my buddy Raz from he's a UK, he's a UK guy, but he lives in Australia, so he's Australian. But
all part of the count.
He's done a cool thing for me, man. He's got some tickets.
All right.
Your boy's going across the pond. I will be in my dream venue, Wembley Stadium, for All In 2023. That logo is available right now on T-shirts. All proceeds to T-shirts and merch from now till then will 100% go to my trip. So any help I can get would be amazing. So anything you guys can do, support, and ABJ will be in London. I'll have some cool content as we're there as well. My pick, correct?
I believe we're at 7-7 now. So
okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad you're keeping track of that because I have not been.
The last pick I believe was you taking Orange Cassidy, which is a really good pick.
Yeah.
So my pick, I'm going to go youth again here. I'm going to try to keep this youth movement going, and somebody who every time I see him, and I don't watch the show as much as I used to, but every time I see him, I'm more and more and more impressed by him. And it seems like he might be working his way up to the quote-unquote main roster soon. I'm going with the NXT champion, Carmelo Hayes.
I remember back on the Tornado Tag days, you made a bet with Austin.
I did.
You said, who will main event more pay-per-views in their career, Carmelo Hayes or Braun Breaker? And you said Braun Breaker will dominate him.
I did, and I stand by my words. Just because I think
Braun's getting stale, and Carmelo's I think he's the style of wrestler people want to see.
I know the people WWE push, and Braun Breaker's the type of person WWE is going to push.
Yeah,
but at this time, who do I enjoy more personally? Carmelo Hayes.
Yes,
and he has risen to a level I didn't think he was going to rise to, but I do stand by. I think that. I said I think I think I put a point spread on it, Braun Breaker plus 10, and I stand by that.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take another female off the board. I got her late here. One of my favorite professional wrestlers in the world right now, and pretty much hands down opinion when it comes to people in the world said female wrestling has been elevated to another level after these two women squared off for this championship.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Athena here as my pick.
Okay.
A lot of wrestling journalists and a lot of people after that match happened, they said, man, Athena versus Willow Nightingale is one of the top women matches that probably ever happened. Like they are putting that up there as one of the best of all time.
That may have been my next pick, and I thought you were going to go with Willow. I was going to say Willow lost her title.
Yeah. Listen, Willow, we've been fans of Willow since I've been fan of the second I laid eyes on Willow, I was like, she's got something. And like when we seen her at Camp Leapfrog, and from then on, I've just been a supporter of her. I think she's super talented. Athena has always been one of my favorite wrestlers ever. You know that. I've been defending her forever. And
oh yeah, love
it.
Great.
They went out and killed it. And top 2 talent in the world. She's holding it down as ROH's women's champion. I wish she got a little more exposure, but that's a woman. And the crazy thing about that match, man, is Willow Nightingale broke her neck at Psycho Circus and probably thought she was never going to wrestle again. Then she did the IWTV documentary where she got to carry on a GoPro and you got to get an inside look at her life.
Those things are great.
They're so good. If you have IWTV, please go watch them. But Willow was at a point in her life, man, where she's like, if it doesn't happen for me, I think I might be done. I got to figure out right now where I stand, and I'm young, but I'm going to get to that point where is this something I keep pushing, or if I just push it to be just doing it as a hobby, or do I keep pushing it as hard as I'm pushing it? And Athena blew her Achilles out and probably thought she was never going to wrestle again. And here's 2 women who had career-ending injuries who bounced back, and they just put on the best women's wrestling match in the history of the business, which is awesome for both of them. And they're both people of color, which doesn't happen very often in this industry, where they get to be women and showcase a headlining spot in an ROH pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that they get to go on there last. And I just peeked at the
first
chat.
Ever women's main event match in ROH history.
Yeah, but they didn't really have. There were entire stretches of Ring of Honor's run where the only woman who was really pushed or used, and usually as a manager, even though she was incredible and so ahead of her time, and has now been spending the last 10 years or so training the next generation, Sarah Del Rey, Sarah Amato, who is the assistant head coach at the Performance Center for WWE.
Yeah.
She was the only one they really had for a while. Like early on, Alexis Lurie, Mickie James was there, Sumi Sakai, who would come back later. And then for a while, forever, they didn't really have a women's division because that was at the point where women's wrestling was kind of seen as, at least on major TV, it was the divas, it was bra and panties matches, it was stuff like that, until really it was, as far as big TV wrestling, was Impact. Impact with Gail Kim, with Awesome Kong, with that generation. Impact really kind of got women's wrestling to a more respectable place than WWE did. And then Shimmer was a big one. Shimmer was an independent company that Dave Prazak, who is now an announcer, or he was a commentator back then, but now he's a commentator for GCW a lot. He had Shimmer, which was like and one of my favorite things was the first Shimmer show. I believe the main event, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a match worth going out of your way to find, if you can find it. It might even be on YouTube. It was Sarah Del Rey, who I'm talking about. I might be wrong here, but I think it was her and Mercedes Martinez in a incredible match.
Mercedes Martinez is so talented.
Yeah, and this is back when you had a lot of like those indie darlings. And one of the great things about that, because women were so like marginalized at that point, this is like 2005, 2004, something like that. Like Ring of Honor is big and all. They had a men's battle royal as a dark match and had all these guys who were like big stars at the time, and they all just wore jeans. Like they were just minimized in a battle royal. And all of this is preamble to say I'm going to dip into the women's division with my next pick. I did take a peek in the chat, and I saw that Steven Chambers a little while ago did kind of telegraph this one for me. I'm going with the Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it up there.
Tag team champions. This was my next pick if I couldn't get Athena. I'm going with 2-for-1, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. I love this team.
We almost had a point in time where 2 people who we are fans of were both Impact tag team champions with Masha and Ace, but unfortunately the night Masha wins it, Ace drops it. But I think big things are on the horizon for Ace soon, so don't count him out yet. He's still killing it. He's on a longer contract, but great pick. And I love the dynamic they're doing with Mosh and Killer Kelly, where they're kind of leaning into a little bit of a sexuality angle, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I always like when women empower themselves by taking back the thing that they get objectified for. You know what I mean? I think it's a fun move. Like Rhea Ripley's doing right now. She's killing it.
Oh, Rhea's amazing.
What are we at right now? Number draft pick.
Right now I have 9 and you have 8.
All right, let's go 10, and then if and we'll see how it goes because we're at 36. If maybe we'll go like 12 or something.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
Yeah. All right. Well, my next pick. I'll take a 2-for-1 here, and you know what? I'm going to take a team that I don't think a lot of people are high on right now, but I think it's a great team. I think they're so entertaining. I think they're a breath of fresh air. I think it's a fun dynamic. And I think people are hating on her character, but I think she's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. And I'm going to take our current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I'm taking Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. I think they're entertaining. I think they have a lot of room to grow. And I think when Chelsea Green first came in, I said, man, her and Carmella would be gold together. And I still think that's possible. But with Carmella now having a baby... Yeah. But Sonya and Chelsea right itself, they were friends with each other on Tough Enough. Like it's gold. And I always thought Sonya was good, but never had an opportunity to.
I forgot Chelsea Green was on that Tough Enough. Yeah, she was like a replacement.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that tag team, and I think Chelsea Green's wildly entertaining, and I'm a fan of what she's been doing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. I am going Japan again, and I am going to go with an actual Japanese wrestler because my last Japan pick was Sabre. I'm going to go with the junior division. One of my favorites was gone with injury for a long time, but has found his way back. I'm going to go with the reigning IWG and the kind of king of the division, the IWG Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi, the Ticking Time Bomb.
Is that the guy who wears the big crazy jackets?
Yeah, and he has the cat Daryl. Like this, I don't hold that against him, but he has a stuffed cat Daryl.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a big role on Forbidden Door, but I love Hiromu Takahashi.
I'm gonna be honest, that's a great pick, but it's not on my list, unfortunately. I like that pick.
No, there's only one NWA champion we're gonna pick, and that's Tyrus.
Yeah, Tyrus is the only NWA champion on the list.
How is he not my number 1 overall pick?
There's a lot of interesting names for me right now on the board. I want to take a woman in this round, but I think I'm looking at a name, and I'm a fan of him, and we got to meet him not too long ago, and just as entertaining as he is as a person to watch on your screen, he's just as entertaining to have a conversation with, and he's just as entertaining to watch perform live. And I think he's so highly underrated, and I think he just understands the business, and he's just, like I said, a wildly entertaining human being. He had one of the funniest T-shirts I've ever seen in my life on. I'm going to go with the current... I don't even think you know he's a champion here right now.
I might not, yeah.
He is the current GCW Extreme
champion. Yeah.
The bad boy, Joey Janela.
Very, very fun. Yeah, Joey gets a bad rap. But yeah, the GCW.
He was wearing a camouflage T-shirt that said Slayer on it, and it just had a picture of John Cena. What?
I thought you meant when he was up at Pilgrim when he had the Garth Brooks shirt on.
No, he was wearing a Slayer shirt that had John Cena on it.
When he wrestled, yeah. No, when he fought, he did not wrestle. They didn't have wrestling there.
That was not wrestling. And there may be more fighting coming up very soon.
August 17th, it's formally announced. August 17th. Yeah. Mike Bailey's Fighttainment Spectacular 2. Joey Janela's a good pick there. That's 10 and 10. So let's just recap and then we'll just do a few more here until we get a few more minutes in. So my official 10, because that's what we're going to do first are MJF, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, Claudio Castagnoli, Gunther, Zack Sabre Jr., Carmelo Hayes, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich, and Hiromu Takahashi. Your 10 are Seth Rollins, FTR, the East-West Express, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, Chris Statlander, Sonata, the House of Black, Orange Cassidy, Athena, Sonya Deville, and Chelsea Green, and Joey Janela. If I don't pick this next guy, he might beat me up in 2 weeks, so I got to pick him. He already has laid hands once. I don't want it to happen again.
I knew it was coming.
I gotta go. He was the first pick in the indie draft we did a year ago. I gotta go with the reigning PPW champion, the Mecha Brian Johnson.
I just realized I have an interview booked the 17th, and I'm seeing if I can get it moved to Friday now. But it's a really good guest name on the 17th, so if he can't, I'm going to keep it, and I probably won't be at the show. There it is, independent draft right there. As an independent star, that's a great pick.
It was my number one overall pick.
There's two independent people I will say that I won't say you fanboyed over, but like you really respect and you like what they do and you like what they bring to the table. Mech is probably the highest one I've ever seen you go for, followed by Matt Mikowski.
Yeah, Hawthorne's on that list too.
Yeah,
if Hawthorne wins the Sanctuary, if Hawthorne was going into Sanctuary tomorrow night as the champion and not the challenger, I may have picked him already. I love J.S. Hawthorne
as a human and as a performer.
Yes, all around. He's
so talented,
all around great.
Yeah. Let's get some nuclear heat here.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with the greatest North American champion of all time, Dominic Mysterio, baby. Let's go.
That was going to be my last pick. If we're going to say this is the last round, I was going with Dom. Especially because I have 3 already.
I hated Dominic Mysterio when he first started doing this heel thing.
He's so good.
He's getting so good. Dude, the whole bit where he goes to talk and the whole place erupts, he's the top heel in professional wrestling.
He's the most hated wrestler. And I guess it is at this point a love to hate thing, but yeah, he's
I hope the fans never turn and just start cheering him because they hate him. Like he gets the MJF treatment because right now he's nuclear heat.
Yeah, Dominic is great. I for some reason when you said North American champions, I thought you were going to say Austin Theory, but like, oh no, he's the U.S. champion.
The U.S. champion.
It's funny. There's a champion on Collision right now. Probably not going to pick him, but Samoa Joe's on there.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of Samoa Joe today. I basically binged watched that entire Twisted Metal show on Peacock.
Is it good?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's very, if you're a fan of and it's actually the executive producers are the guys who did it. If you enjoy the Deadpool movies, if you enjoyed Zombieland, the people who did those, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick are the executive producers, and their style is kind of permeating over it, and it's a lot of fun. So for my 12th pick, I want to go back to the women's division, just kind of balance it out a little bit more. I'm torn between 2 of them, but I've always been a big fan of her. It's going to go with the SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka.
That was going to be my pick too. Hold on, let me move. Let me move my guest from Thursday to Friday.
Just because
I took time away from the show, I'll give you the sneak peek to who it was. Coming to the ABJ podcast. I don't know if it'll be live or if it'll be an episode that airs and is recorded and then airs another day. The president of independent wrestling.
Oh, I voted for him.
Phil Stamper.
I always vote for Stamper.
Amazing guy. Dude, there's some names I got this month.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are, they're all going to be good, but some of them are people I wanted to talk to for a very long time. Already announced one, Flash Carter, going to kick us off.
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, the 1st.
I loved getting a chance to work with Flash Carter at the high tension, under the bottom rope limbo battle royal. I did an interview with him after. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so what are we at? How many?
This will
overall?
This will be your 12th pick.
All right, so this will be. We'll wrap it up here. The final pick of the draft. Man, there's still a lot of names here I like, but unfortunately, I got to just go with the one here, and we got to go with the best name in professional wrestling and end it there. And we're just gonna go with Tony Storm. The
3, because I did want to get another woman on my my draft board here, and it was between Asuka, her, and I don't know her that well, but Julia, who's the one who beat Willow for the
Tiffany Stratton.
I'm a big fan of Tiffany. I think she's going to be a big star.
I think she's going to be good too.
I think she's going to be a big star. And if we were doing this draft in 2 years and she had a title, maybe she would have snuck on my list.
Yeah, first time I seen her, I was like, boy, she could be the next. She's a mix between Mandy and Trish Stratus. She's going to be.
And athletic. She's a gymnast. She's a former high-level gymnast.
You know who she reminds me a lot too, and I think someone who's on the independent scene who's on a really good come up, who is finding her gear and she's actually signed, who I think has a lot of Tiffany Stratton in her. Nikki Duke.
Okay.
She's a former athletic gymnast too, who's trying to find that balance. NWA Women's Champion Camille Steven in the chat says no love for her, unfortunately. Great champion, but it's hard to be one of the top champions in the company when you don't get a lot of publicity and they don't promote a lot of matches for her.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you who she beat in her run so far.
I know, and it's a shame because it was such a big deal, that title, for a while, and they even had the Empower event, which was an all-women's show. And Thunder Rosa, they put Thunder Rosa on the map. They did so much there. I'm going to really quickly run through the people that I had on my draft board that didn't get picked here. Will Ospreay. I know people are going to be shocked that the Will Ospreay didn't get picked here. Some people would have maybe taken him first overall. Not my flavor of wrestling. I respect what he does, just not really my flavor of wrestling. You can really see my flavor of wrestling with a lot of the people I drafted, like the Gunthers and the Claudios and the Zack Sabre Juniors of the world. But I did have him. He probably would have been my next pick. I have the House of Glory champion Matt Cardona here. I have the House of Glory Crown Jewel champion Charles Mason here, and a guy I've seen a handful of times that I've been impressed with. And I did find out he is the Beyond Wrestling. They have a thing called Open Wrestling. He is the Open Wrestling champion, Ichiban, who is a name you're going to be hearing more of. Ichiban's a fun masked wrestler. He's number one, and he maybe should have been the number one pick, but I had to go with MJF. So just to recap here, your team, ABJ, was Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, FTR, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the GCW World Tag Team Champions, the East-West Express of Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, the AEW TBS Champion, Chris Statlander, the IWGP Champion, Sonata, the AEW Trios Champions, the House of Black, the AEW, God, they have so many titles, the AEW International title holder, Orange Cassidy, the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, the GCW Extreme Champion, the Bad Boy, Joey Janela, the NXT US Champion, Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, and the AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm. And then my group of 12 is the AEW World Champion, MJF. I think every AEW champion got picked besides Luchasaurus. The WWE
and
World
Jack Perry.
And Jack Perry, yeah. Well, it's the FTW title. The WWE...
I like Jack Perry a lot. As a wrestler, his character work is struggling. I don't want to say horrible, but it's struggling.
I understand they had to do new music because that Tarzan Boy's babyface music through and through, but the music's not working. He either needs to get better with talking or get a manager. I guess they're just going to give him reps to get him better. But yeah, it's going to take some work. I have confidence that he's so young. He has time to refine it, get better, do more with it. But yeah, right now it's just not hitting the way at least not for me. This is all subjective the way I wanted to. Yeah, so my group is the AEW champion MJF, the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the WWE Undisputed Champion Roman Reigns, the Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, the Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli, the Intercontinental Champion Gunther, the NGPW New Japan TV Champion Zack Sabre Jr., the NXT Champion Carmelo Hayes, the Impact Wrestling. Oh, and another one, honorable mention.
The only Impact person drafted.
Yeah, I'm surprised no Trinity. Alex Shelley's great. I'm surprised. Another one I would have maybe picked. He is still the Sanctuary World Champion. Ace Austin. I could have picked. Yeah. But I did pick the Impact Women's Tag Team Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, the IWGP Junior Champion, Hiromu Takahashi, the PPW Heavyweight Champion, the Mecha Brian Johnson, and the SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka. That is my
Love
team.
That. All right. Yeah. What a great draft, man. We wrapped this up in under an hour. We'll get people out of here. Go ahead and go watch some TV. Just like I said, links and stuff below for myself as well as BP's Project Humor. You can follow his podcast. We'll try to be back again. We're going to try to keep this either Fridays or Saturdays around 8 or 9 o'clock. It'll vary. But who knows? If we're both free a certain day, we'll try to get on here and do stuff. Don't hold us to a solid day, a solid schedule. We'll try to make it work when we can. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. That's going to do it for Tornado Tag. Let's cue some cool music by the Converse Kid, Billy Trey.